Everyone, welcome back to my Maverick channel. Now, real world use cases is the name of the game. Having a long-term perspective in the cryptocurrency space is important, but at the same time, sometimes you want to be early in a project. So the meaning of early is relative to the market trend, relative to the volume within the market, and relative to the sentiment, and also your own perception of what early is. When Ethereum was at $40 at some point in the past, to some people that was late, to some people that was early. So judging the market sentiment, judging the current prices, the general trend of the market, is it a bullish trend, is it in a bearish trend? So many factors come into play. But today let us cover some articles and hopefully some others that will tie some strings together. So the first article, so briefly, just in case you did not know, Brian Brooks, who was the former controller of the currency within the United States, resigns as CEO of the crypto exchange Binance US. Now, you all know Binance, which is, synonymous with, after saying the word Binance, you say the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange by market capitalized or by volume, actually by trade volume or whatever. Yeah, so Binance, love it. It's an awesome exchange. They've done so much for the crypto space, regardless of what other, people what their opinions might be about this exchange. I feel like the CEO is down to earth, whatever, but I'm not promoting them. I'm just saying I have no problem with them. So Brian Brooks resigned. We can just read their tweets about what he said. So, greetings, crypto community, letting you all know that I have resigned as CEO of Binance US. Despite differences over strategic direction, I wish my former colleagues much success. And here there was a response from Binance itself. Brian Brooks has resigned as Binance US CEO. I remain confident in Binance US business and its commitment to serve its customers and innovate. As one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the United States, Binance.us is poised to continue to grow and empower the future of finance. This transition will not impact Binance.us customers in any way, as the company will continue to deliver best-in-class products and services. So, of course, this has come as a result of, as an effect of all the slew of news that we've been hearing about regulation, different governments wanting to clamp down on Binance. Binance is not necessarily a bad player as far as we're concerned, at least the users, but I mean, they have amazing products. They have a great customer service, whatever. They're a decent product within the market. But regulation, so recently they have started selling securities or commodities, or what should you say, stock of other companies. And I imagine they were trying to expand eventually. And, governments were like, hey, where is the regulation here? You're making these things accessible to everyone in the world. Of course, we know there's platforms where you can get that, but Binance, I think, being as big as it is, there was some regulatory concerns from the powers that be. So let us continue. That's the news. Brian Brooks resigned, but Binance is still bullish on their progress. So one of the articles I wanted you guys to look at is the NFT gaming explodes with Axie Infinity surging to $1 billion in sales. Guys, this is crazy. But of course, I've talked about virtual worlds like Decentraland, there's Sandbox, there's Somnium Space, there's Axie Infinity, which has completely surpassed all the other platforms that are out there, at least in terms of adoption, in terms of the actual gaming. And you can buy real estate within Axie Infinity. You can buy the Axie Infinities themselves, which are, if you can see those cartoon pictures over there, those are the Axie Infinities. You can they're NFTs essentially, so you can trade them, and it's I think it's based on the Ethereum blockchain. So for those that do not know, Axie Infinity is this kind of virtual world game. You can buy real estate, you can buy Axies, which are the, those little animals within the game. You can buy them, and there's an actual game to play. So long story short, they have a native token as well, and that token has completely gone ballistic when it comes to the price, and the use case within the game itself has expanded tremendously, and I think this is the most played game within the blockchain space. I mean, the transactions themselves, because you can buy real estate, you can buy the Axes themselves, the transactions have completely gone crazy, completely gone beyond the charts, and really taken this whole space by surprise. $1 billion sales so far within Axie Infinity. So it's the thing right now within the blockchain space, and very much tied into NFTs. cryptocurrencies. Okay, this next article that I want us to look at is Alchemy Pay to launch virtual crypto cards with Visa and MasterCard support. Now, the part that I want you guys to look out for is this last part. But before we check that out, I want to establish this right now, that Alchemy Pay is not the same as Alchemy, the platform that I talked about in a couple of videos back. This other Alchemy is set out to be the AWS or Amazon Web Service of the crypto space, essentially a platform onto which developers can come and develop their applications without worrying about other things like running their own nodes for their particular blockchains that they're trying to utilize or other blockchains that they're utilizing. So that is out of the way. This is the website of Alchemy Pay. So let's go back here. The news comes shortly after Alchemy Pay last week. There's something I want you guys to note. Let us look into it. Let us see what that is. The news comes shortly after Alchemy Pay last week partnered with Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, by trade volumes. Now, guys, I didn't plan this. This came up by chance as I was doing research. So as part of the integration with Alchemy Pay, Binance will unlock crypto payments across merchants of Alchemy Pay's partners in 18 countries, including e-commerce giant Shopify, software technology company Arcadia, mobile payment provider QFPay, and others. The new feature will be available through Binance's pay application, Binance Pay. As previously reported by Cointelegraph, both Visa and MasterCard have been aggressively moving into the cryptocurrency industry over the past year. Now, check out this last part as well. In as much as the first part has been completely bullish, this involves Binance directly. After announcing payment capability for Circle's stablecoin USD Coin USDT in late 2020, Visa has reaffirmed its commitment to crypto payments and fiat on-ramps. So outlining a particular focus on stablecoin-based integrations, MasterCard has entered partnerships with Circle and blockchain firm Paxos to enable banks and crypto companies to roll out crypto cards globally. Now, the important thing, of course, the fact that Binance has its own pay and they're linking with, Alchemy Pay, which is in talks with 18 other nations out there. We also note here that there is that connection between Paxos, MasterCard, and look at this article here. Paxos, which is one of the companies really attached to MasterCard in terms of in terms of pushing this crypto pay, crypto e-commerce type of thing. Paxos, you have to note, is an originally blockchain company. It's a company that mirrors metals, precious metals. For example, you can buy Paxos Gold, which is a token that mirrors the price of gold. So you do not hold the physical gold, but you hold that token. But however, you can exchange that token. I think the last time I looked, that was maybe a year ago. You could exchange up to about $700,000 for actual gold, and their vaults, I think, are in England somewhere. That's what I remember, unless it changed. So these Paxos people, they list BUSD as well, which is the stable coin that is the native stablecoin that mirrors the US dollar, that is owned by the Binance ecosystem, or that is on the Binance chain or the Binance Smart Chain. Now, we see those ties between Paxos, Binance, and MasterCard, and at the same time, we see ties between Binance, Alchemy, and Visa. So those are two major payments companies already clumped together. You can see the title here, Alchemy Pay to launch virtual crypto cards with Visa and MasterCard support. So you can see how the MasterCard support comes in, and you can see how Binance is tied in all together in there. And you can see the behemoth of Paxos, which is also tied in there. And these are the payment companies like the traditional ones like Shopify and so on. So guys, sometimes this news looks a bit simple on the surface, but if you look beyond the surface, if you look beyond its skin, go deep into that lower layer of these articles and what they're trying to do, you discover quite a few things. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is Solana, Terra Luna, the Binance Smart Chain. Now, Solana is the outlier in this group. So the purpose of Solana is, I've actually done a video about this, I think, in layer 1 blockchains. Solana, the whole premise of Solana is, hey, we have a blockchain decentralized technology that is scalable, that won't suffer the same consequences with other technologies. Like if you use sharding within a blockchain, there's some issues with sharding, because sharding is one of the technologies that's looked at the most when it comes to Ethereum scaling, Ethereum 2.0, or other blockchains out there. So sharding is one of those things that, the world is looking at as a way to scale blockchains, but it has some issues. For example, I'm not a technical guy, but when it comes to sharding, is that the transactions happen in parallel. So the chain is sharded, so the transactions happen in parallel, which means there's no interconnection between the transaction happening here and the transaction here. And there could be some use cases for the importance of having that connection, or that connectivity, that communication within transactions happening on different sharded layers of a particular blockchain. So Solana says, we're not going to use sharding. We're going to use some other mechanisms, some other consensus mechanisms, and we're going to be scalable. We're going to be decentralized. We're going to be permissionless. We're going to be immutable. We're going to be faster. And you can come here and develop smart contracts as well, and all the other use cases like other ecosystems like Ethereum. And Solana is very big and massive in terms of, you can see in terms of reputation, it's known in the whole crypto space. But there's also things like this. For example, Block Dream Fund launches 10 million fund to support the Solana ecosystem. We have things like this. Solana Labs completes a 314.15 million private token sale led by Andreessen Horowitz and Polychain Capital. So there's tremendous amount of attention around the Solana ecosystem for those that have been around in the crypto space, especially with Ethereum not doing too well with transaction fees. It's hard to do DeFi on the Ethereum network. So Solana is the only outlier because it's the only project that's not leveraging the Cosmosm technology, which is the technology that originates from the Cosmos network, from the consensus algorithms of the Cosmos network, like the Tendermint and the ABCI network, that really allow blockchains to have that inter-blockchain connectivity. But the purpose of the Cosmosm software is to extend the smart contracts capabilities onto other blockchains. So Solana is the only outlier in the projects that I'm talking about, but it's a massive, in and of itself, it's very massive in terms of what it's doing, reputation, network effect, basically Metcalfe's law. So Terra is the other cryptocurrency. So the basic premise on the surface of Terra is to be the dominant cryptocurrency or ecosystem onto which stablecoins can be created. We're talking about IMF SDR, or is it IMF or World Bank? I think it's the IMF special drawing rights. We're talking about mirroring the stablecoin, the US dollar, Korean currency, Japanese yen, Chinese yuan, whatever other stablecoin out there. This is the platform setting itself out to be that. So basically you have the Terra Luna token, and they have a famous stablecoin which is called the UST, but let's first put that on the side with all the other stablecoins that can be designed there. So you have the Terra coin, which can fluctuate in price just like any other coin. Now, when you're minting stablecoins, a certain portion of the Terra tokens are taken away from the supply, and those tokens are equal to $1, and those are converted into UST, or the stablecoin that you're trying to mint, and that in turn reduces the supply of the tokens. And once you want to trade back your stablecoin, for example, the US dollar or whatever, you can trade it back, and then that's converted into Terra Luna. But you know how cryptocurrencies work. There's interconnectivity. You can trade it into other things. But it's presumed, or the presumption is that as utility goes up, as that demand goes up, obviously the demand for the token goes up, because more people want to mint stablecoins for whatever they want to use them for. Maybe you want to yield from them and get more yield. Maybe you want to stake them. Maybe you want to actually use them in the real world. So Terra is that project that's wanting to dominate that field of stablecoins. I guess they're also kind of algorithmic stablecoins in the way, but different from things like Amperforth. So the thing to note is that these guys leverage the Cosmosm technology, and actually you can see that at the base here, where they talk about one of the platforms they've created. It's supposed to be like a synthetics platform, which is called the Mirror Protocol, which allows the creation of fungible assets, or synthetics that track the price of real world assets. Guys, I'm very bullish on eventually the penetration of that idea of bringing real world assets onto the blockchain space. That is going to literally move all the world's money onto crypto. So that's why it's very bullish. If you look at derivatives market, commodities market, that's where most of the money is, the global money, illiquid or whatever. Then cash is a different portion of the global money. Then you include things like gold, and there's other measurements like M1 and M2. I'm not a financier. So here you can see that Terra supports smart contracts Guys, so, excuse me, but really, I'm not a financier, but hey, you learn along the way. So Terra supports smart contracts enabled by Cosmosm technology, and that's the thing that I wanted you guys to take note of. That's the mirror protocol here. So we can see articles like this. Crypto investors like Terraform Labs so much, they're committing 150 million to its ecosystem. So these are more investors, more venture capitalists, really believing into the use case of what Terra is, trying to morph to become. And hence, of course, you get a lot of money flowing into that. So Solana is the only outlier. Terra uses, but Solana is amazing as well, big in its own sense. But the point I wanted to note is with Terra, there's Cosmosm, and Binance. We've already talked about Binance and how massive it is. It also leverages Cosmosm technology, and that's one of the reasons why Binance chain is very, very interoperable within the chains created within the Binance chain itself and within other ecosystems that especially if you're building the Cosmosm, you're interoperable with other chains that are leveraging the Cosmosm technology. But at the same time, it's expanding to also allow that blockchain interconnectivity or intercommunication within blockchains that also proof of work ready, or essentially that's it. So this whole thing was tying into Cosmos, which is the blockchain within which the Cosmosm technology is leveraged from. But of course, the way Cosmos is designed is such that this technology is open source. So you're not necessarily, it's not like Ethereum where you build a smart contract and you're tied onto the Ethereum network. You can get out there, take the Tendermint and other consensus algorithms that are based on the Cosmos network, build them and have your own chain in your own corner. But of course it's important to stick with the community, such that to keep that technology close by, such that if you need that interoperability within any other platform that's big, that would essentially bring more liquidity onto your own platform, or to have that inter cooperation between different ecosystems, then of course you need to maintain that relationship, which is basically already maintained by the fact that you're using the same technology to allow scalability, or to enable scalability for your ecosystem, which in turn brings other perks. So guys, that's all I wanted to talk about today. It's that tying in of different things. For example, the Visa, the MasterCard, and the relation with Paxos and Binance, and then Solana being a massive ecosystem, which I'm just reminding you guys of to take note of in what they're doing, but also to mention the fact that Terra Luna, the Binance Smart Chain, they're all leveraging the Cosmosm technology, which is basically which was introduced by the same teams that were building the Cosmos network, and that continue to build the Cosmos network into the behemoth that it's becoming. There's so many applications that are built onto the Cosmos network, including others that I haven't mentioned. Very massive ecosystems, actually, very popular names within the blockchain space. But I just wanted to talk about those ones. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope you learned something. I always do. And I hope to see you on the next one, guys. Bye bye.